It's my first day in Krakow and it is freezing, like legitimately 15 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 10 Celsius. I arrived yesterday in the early evening and after getting checked into my apartment hotel, I went on the hunt for dinner, which had to be pierogies. After checking that off my list, I stopped by a nearby grocery store to pick up some snacks. I love having a hotel with a kitchenette or at least a mini fridge. I took full advantage of this by starting my day with breakfast in the room. Then it was time to get dressed with layers upon layers since I booked a walking tour of the Old Town. My hotel was just outside the Old Town, but the brisk 8-minute walk helped warm me up before meeting the guide. I love a walking tour, especially as a solo traveler. It's a really good way to quickly get acclimated with the city, learn some of the history, and figure out which of the sites you want to come back to and see more of in depth. This was a 2.5 hour walking tour that I booked through Viator, but you're not standing the whole time. We had a nice 30-minute coffee and cocoa break about halfway through the tour to have a seat and warm up. Our group was lucky enough to have Maciek as our guide. He made sure to keep us moving enough to try to stay warm while staying entertaining enough to not focus as much on the cold. The tour ends on top of the Wawel Castle Hill, and from there I walked down to the river to visit the fire-breathing dragon sculpture. Either he was also affected by the cold or he just doesn't light up very long, because if you aren't paying attention, you might miss it completely. I had to keep moving to stay warm and walk back into the Old Town and Market Square. This city is truly beautiful and incredibly walkable. I visited Krakow on a Tuesday, and lucky for me, a number of the museums are also free on Tuesdays. So I went in search of warmth at the Czartoryski Museum. It opened in the late 1800s from the Czartoryski family's private collection. Today, this museum holds thousands of pieces of art, artifacts, books, and historic memorabilia. After standing for the better part of 5 hours, it was time for a break. Krakow has a local ring-shaped pastry that I cannot pronounce. I found a hybrid of that and a pretzel for an afternoon snack. I picked the one with apple and cinnamon filling. After getting my blood sugar up with carbs, I needed to warm up and not move for a while. Unfortunately for me, this snack wasn't enough to hold me over for the night, so I had to go back outside again for dinner. Thankfully, it had warmed up about 10 degrees.
The good news is it actually does feel legitimately warmer now. Like my hands aren't as cold as they were, even when I would just take my gloves off to take photos earlier today. It's definitely not warm by any means, but it's less miserable.
I found a restaurant at a nearby hotel that had good reviews, but when I arrived, it was completely empty. I honestly hate being the only one in a restaurant, especially as a solo diner. It feels so awkward. But my meal was good, so no complaints there. I've got a few more hours to explore tomorrow before heading off to Bratislava, so keep following along to see more.